So far we have learned discrete probability in three different forms: tabular, formula and set theoretic, and representing continuous probability through density functions. Now in this video we will learn one of the two important operations, marginalization. In the next video I will present conditioning. Again we are back to the table with which we started. The table represents a joint distribution having three variables A, B and C, and these three variables respectively indicate whether the employee stayed late in the office the previous day, the traffic condition on that day, and whether the employee came to office late or not. Okay, so marginalization is used to remove one or more variables from a joint distribution. Whenever we want to ignore the influence of one or more factors from the probability values, we marginalize those variables out. For example, this table might be used by a manager of a team who is sure that the workload is small and everyone should be able to finish their work within the office hours. He wants to ignore the factor whether employee had to stay late or not. So we have to remove column A from this distribution. Let's see how to do that. So we have to remove column A from the original table and retain only B and C. So in the new table there will be only B and C. Let us see what happens to each row here. Okay, so consider the first row in which value of B is 0, value of C is also 0. So this corresponds to two rows in the original table as shown in the picture. In these two rows, B and C remain fixed and only A has changed. Okay, so we add these two rows and fill the value of the new table. By doing so, we have ignored the influence of A on the probability. Let me rephrase what we did just now. We wanted to know the probability for a row in the new table consisting of only B and C. We fixed the value of B and C as indicated in the row, and then looked for all the rows which have that value for B and C and added them together to get the required probability. Let's see how this can be done elegantly through a formula. To find the value for probability is equal to B is equal to B, first we have fixed the row of the new table. Then we summed the value, probability value from the original table which included A. Okay, while we have fixed the B and C, but summation is over only A, where A takes all the possible values. Okay, instead of repeating this B is equal to B and C is equal to C, here we can simply say that probability of BC is equal to summation over A, probability of ABC. One may ask whether we can get back the original table after we did marginalization. The answer is straightforward. We cannot do that because when we when we add this variable A back, we don't know exactly how to split these two. That information is lost. So there may be multiple ways in which A can be added. Okay, so you can add a column and split this probability 0.23 in multiple ways, and again get the same marginal table we have. So, but sometimes in optimization there are some auxiliary variables, auxiliary additional columns added through such a technique. So they might be splitting it in some one of the many ways that are possible. One unusual thing you might have noticed is that usage of symbol P in both sides here. So in the left hand side the P has only two variables B, C, and on the right hand side it has three variables. So these two are totally different functions. Usually when functions are different, we use different symbols in mathematics, but in probability we have a different practice. All distributions derived from the biggest joint distribution. This is the biggest joint distribution containing all the information. So any distribution which is derived from this, whether marginalization or whether through conditionalization, which you will learn in the next video, we will use the same symbol P. Okay, so this is a different practice in probability, and this forces us to follow one more convention which is different from usual handling of expressions. So in the usual convention, if f of x, if we say that f of x is ax square plus bx plus c, then we can change the variable inside the function and say f of y is equal to ay square plus by plus c. Okay, this we cannot do. If we do such name changes, then suppose if we marginalize p of xyz to get p of yz, and such a change of variable names happened, then we will not know which variable we have marginalized. So we have to stick to use a variable for a particular meaning it was assigned to in the beginning. So x, so here a means indicates the employee leaving late the previous day, then it has to be a throughout all the expressions using this joint table. Now let's try to eliminate two variables by marginalization. Okay, imagine you are the person who plans the food quantity required in cafeteria for those who stay late in the office. You will not be worried whether an employee is staying late due to traffic or any other factor. So you will be worried only about whether the employee stays late or not and what are the chances of it. So we need to keep only A and remove B and C. Just pause for a minute and think about what will be the columns in the new table, and how will you compute the values for each row in that table. Also try to write the formula for it. So here is the answer. We have only two rows in the new table corresponding to A being false and true. To obtain the value in one row, you will have to sum the 6 values. For the second row, these 6 values. Below the table you can find this formula, and the simplified representation of it is just P of A is equal to summation over B and C of P of A, B, C. So at the end, let us summarize what we have learned about marginalization. Marginalization is always applied on a joint distribution involving two or more variables. If there is only one variable, when we sum it up, the result will always be 1, because that is the condition with which we started the probability distribution. Always after marginalization, one or more variables are eliminated. So in the new table, at least one variable will not be there, which was there in the original table. For continuous distribution, you can do marginalization just by replacing sigma with integration in the formula. So all other things are same as in discrete distribution. Once marginalized, there are multiple ways to add the eliminated variables back, or not only eliminated, for to any table we can add new variables in multiple ways, because there are multiple ways to split the existing probabilities across new variables. Hence we may end up in a different distribution from the one which we started with.